Hello, welcome once again. I am Father Balmex Pereira, Assistant Professor of Botany at St. Joseph Vaz College, Korthali. And we are dealing with the course Plant Ecology and Phytogeography for the third year students of Bachelor of Science in Botany. This is course code BOC 110. And in this particular module, we are dealing with the trophic organization in the ecosystems. This module, we will learn the trophic organization in ecosystem. We will also see the 10% law of energy transfer and the standing crop. What is standing crop? So at the end of this module, it explains to us the trophic organization in an ecosystem. It outlines the 10% law of energy transfer, how the energy is transferred in the ecosystem. And it also relates to the standing crop of trophic levels. That is, different levels have different standing crop. We will see what it is. So what is trophic level, first of all? Trophic level can be defined as the position of an organism in the food chain. Remember, we are dealing with the food chain in an ecosystem. So the position of an organism in the food chain is called as trophic level. And it can range from the value that can be given to the trophic level. 1 is for primary producers. It can go up to 5 for the marine mammals and humans or omnivores. Now, how to determine what is the trophic level of a consumer? In order to understand that, all that we have to do is add one level to the main trophic level of its prey. That means whatever the consumer is consuming or whatever the consumer is eating, you have to understand what is the trophic level of that particular thing, what the consumer has eaten. So accordingly, coming to its main trophic level, add one more, and that is the trophic level of the consumer. Remember, we have primary consumers, secondary consumers, tertiary consumers, and it can go higher. So how the energy flows? In the previous module, we had seen that there is energy flow in an ecosystem. How it flows, we can see this presentation. Basically, the energy comes from the sun, and it comes as light energy and heat energy. Heat energy is released into the atmosphere, we can say, and the light energy that comes is used by the producers, that is the plants, because they have chlorophyll, and using chlorophyll and light, there is photosynthesis that takes place. That means in this, the energy is used and the food is synthesized. So food is prepared, we say, by the producers. The green plants, using photosynthesis, they prepare food. Now when this food is prepared, there are consumers. The first level of consumers is, as we can see, the herbivores. That is, they eat these plants. Once again, there is release of heat energy, and there is transfer of this energy that has been produced by the plants. In the third trophic level, we see the secondary consumers. That is, we can see here a bird that eats the insect that has eaten the plant. So there is transfer of energy once again, and there is also release of heat. The next trophic level, that is the tertiary consumers, can be top carnivores who eat a bird. Further, as we know, there can be more levels. That is, they can go on eating each other. That is the food chain that continues. So in all this, finally the decomposers make these consumers go back into the nature. We have to remember over here, as the presentation itself suggests, that decomposers can decompose even the producers or the primary consumers, that is the herbivores, or the secondary consumers over here, that is the carnivores, or the top carnivores, or even the omnivores. So every level there is transfer of energy and there is release of heat. So trophic structure, it describes the system or an organization of organisms into trophic levels. Now this organization is based on the amount of energy that the organism consumes at each level. So these organisms will be consuming energy and releasing energy. So essentially, the trophic structure shows us that the feeding relationship, that is eating each other, between these different organisms, both the producers and the consumers. And this trophic structure is studied or observed within a set area and set time. So within that area and within that time, we understand that flow of energy as a trophic level. So in this energy pyramid, for our understanding, we can understand this energy pyramid as a presentation of the trophic organization in an ecosystem. That is the flow of energy, how the energy flows. As we have already said, the primary source of energy is sun. So sun energy that comes to, or that is trapped by, or that is used by the primary producers, this energy will continue transmitting from one level to another, that is primary consumers, secondary consumers, tertiary consumers, and even up to the decomposers. Both the sides we have seen that the energy is lost as heat, and the other side there are decomposers that make this energy go back into, or they set it back into the cycle. So this is the ecological pyramid, the energy pyramid. We can also call it as ecological pyramid, where we see the energy flow from one level to another. So these categories that have been made are not strictly defined, because some organisms feed on different, or they feed on several trophic levels. Some carnivores, for example, they also consume plants. For example, we, the human beings, we eat the animals also as non-veg, and we also eat the plants as veg. So we are depending on different trophic levels. That is, we are eating the producers as well as the consumers. So some herbivores occasionally consume the animal matter as well. So in our understanding, it is not strictly defined. So let us understand that. So first, and the lowest level that contains the producers are the green plants. That is the green plants that photosynthesis takes place and the sun energy is transformed. The plants or their products are consumed by the secondary level organisms, that is the herbivores or the plant eaters, we can call them. At the third level, we have the primary carnivores which eat the herbivores, or we can call them as meat eaters. And at the fourth level, we have the secondary carnivores that eat the primary carnivores. Finally, it will be the decomposers who will decompose the entire thing. So that means in this entire chain, there is flow of energy, or there is transfer of energy that transfers from one level to another level. So how does that happen? So there is a rule called as 10% rule of energy transfer. And what does it say? So energy that has been transferred from sun, or that has been synthesized from the sun, is transferred through the ecosystem by passing through various levels. As it passes through various levels, roughly around 10% of energy can be transferred from one trophic level to the next. It cannot be more according to the rule that is set as 10% rule. So only around 10% of energy will be transferred from one level to another. Thus, it prevents large amounts of trophic levels in a food chain. So in this food chain, if there is only 10% of energy that is transferred, that does not mean, of course, that the consumers, may it be primary or secondary or tertiary consumers, they don't get energy. They get energy from other sources as well. But from that particular flow, that particular transfer of energy, only 10% will be transferred. Please understand this properly, don't confuse. It is not that the consumers or the omnivores have the least amount of energy. From that particular flow, it is having only 10% at every level. Okay, this is called as 10% of energy transfer. So there must be large amount of biomass at the bottom of the pyramid, that is the producers, so that it supports the energy levels at every trophic level that goes higher. So only about 10% of energy is stored as biomass in trophic level, and it is passed to the next level. So this is basically called as the 10% rule, and it limits how many trophic levels can be supported in one particular ecosystem. We see sharp decrease in biomass as it goes at higher trophic levels. In this particular presentation, you can see energy decreases with 2 to 3 trophic levels because only 10% of energy is transferred. So therefore, an ecosystem can support only limited number of trophic levels. This is what we need to understand when we talk about environment, when we talk about environmental degradation, when we talk about conservation, and all the things that we do in order to conserve and why we are doing it, because the energy level decreases. So as we go higher up, there is less of energy, less of biomass that we can call as dry weight. So finally, that is called a standing crop. What is a standing crop? For every trophic structure, there is a biomass between the trophic levels that is passed from one level to another. So, in an ecological community, the entire energy is gathered and nutrients are gathered in a similar way, and the producers, the consumers, they are at a different level. But at a different level, there is certain amount of living material that is present. There has to be a living material on which the different consumers will depend upon at different trophic level, and that is called as standing crop at any particular time. So if there is a living material present, that is called as the standing crop. So it is expressed in numbers or biomass which can be measured as fresh weight or dry weight of organism per unit area at that given time. So that is how the energy will be transferred from one level to another. And this is what we can understand as trophic level and transfer of energy at the trophic levels. These are our references which we can go through and understand for ourselves what exactly this means. So as we go through this plant ecology and phytogeography, let us understand its basic concepts and be prepared for the next modules in which we will go deeper into these matters. Thank you.